stories. You know, God is writing a story in your life. I just had a conversation today with two people where God is writing stories, and maybe God is making room for me to have a part to play in their lives. It's kind of exciting. I don't know if you've ever thought much about how maybe your life is part of the story that God is writing in history. I read this week in Luke chapter 15 about some lost things. I'm forever losing stuff. I put it down. The other day I was using a drill and I put it down, and 10 minutes later I couldn't remember where I put it. Drove me crazy. I even came in the house and said, "Marcia, I lost my drill." Turned out it was exactly where I left it. I just couldn't remember. So I lose things. Maybe you lose things too. Well, in Luke chapter 15, we read that Jesus was telling some parables about lost things. And the first was the parable of the lost sheep, and how the shepherd had gone out with his 100 sheep, and 99 of them came back, and one of them didn't. So he left the 99 and went and found the one that was lost. And then in Luke 15, verse 8, we see the parable of the lost coin. Well, the poor woman, she didn't have very many coins in the first place, and she lost it, and then, she looked all over the house, and eventually she found it, and when she found it, she threw a little party because of how wonderful it was that the lost coin was found, just like the lost sheep was found. And then we see the parable of the lost son, about how he had taken his wealth and he had gone to his parties and he had used it up on women, and then he finally got to the place where he was feeling frustrated with how much his life was full of suffering. And he remembered how good it was back at his father's house, and he made a plan that he was going to go back. And the father saw him coming and ran out to him with such enthusiasm because the lost son had come home. You know, maybe you've been lost before. Maybe physically lost, where you were lost on a trip or lost in a store. My wife has gotten lost at the mall a few times. So you know what it's like to be found. In your spiritual journey, we are all lost. That is, we were hopeless without Jesus. And then God made a way, and he went and searched for the lost coin, and he went and searched for the lost sheep, and he went and searched for the lost boy, or the lost man, or the lost woman, and then we were found. And the story of how he found us is the story we are supposed to tell. And in fact, in Luke chapter 8, where we were last week, we see chapter 8, verse 16, it says, "No one lights a lamp and hides it under a jar or puts it under a bed. Instead, he puts it on a stand so that those who come in can see the light." Well, when you tell your story about how Jesus came to you and found you, well, you're holding your lamp up so that people can see the light. And who's the light? Yeah, the light is Jesus. And that's why we tell our stories. I hope you'll come Sunday and hear a few more stories of how God has been involved in the lives of our people. It's an encouraging thing to hear someone's story. You know, maybe it will inspire you to share some of your own stories. Hey, this is Pastor Dale of First Alliance Church. First Alliance Church is a great place to be. I hope you'll join us on Sunday, or maybe even Saturday. Last Saturday we saw 35 different family groups, over 65 different people who came through the produce line. You know, come on by. Stop in and say hi. First Alliance Church is a great place to be.